Oh, it's not bad. It looks about the same. Okay. Let's see. Okay, I'm gonna tag you, and then you can just retweet the rate though. Kind of writing. That's what we're about to do. Is it HANTAO or HANTAO?
Either's fine.
Okay, we're writing. I love it. All right, let's get into the theme song. Share screen. Let's get it.
We're riding. Hype happy hour, talking about life, so you might feel empowered. Hype happy hour, tornado on the mic with a guest giving flowers. Hype happy hour, tools and reviews provide life tapping power. Hype happy hour, positive and light with advice, build your tower. Happiness is key, so you gotta bring the smiles out. Inspiration needs a bit of passion to just wild out. Positivity and optimism when we ride out. Enthusiasm and dreams, gotta feed them till your time's out.
Let's freaking go, baby. Oh man, hype happy hour. I am Gentle Tornado. I am your host on this magical journey. I created a company called Live Hyped. Hyped is an acronym that stands for happiness, inspiration, positivity, enthusiasm, and dreams. I am on an absolute mission to make positivity louder. If you look at my logo in the bottom left, it is an H with a heartbeat in the middle because we never know how many heartbeats we have. Tomorrow could be our last heartbeat. So here at Hyped, I am committed to just pushing We Have One Life. On episode 49, I am joined with an absolute legend. This man is crushing it. He's a genuine human. He's a grinder. He's a motivator. He's determined to be greatness, but the journey is the destination, baby. HANTAO, how are you doing?
Yo, what's up, GT? Thanks for having me. Doing great. Really excited to show my bags.
Let's go. Listen, the way we started off is what are we grateful for today? So what are you grateful for?
Yeah, I'm just grateful for the opportunity to be in Web3 and to be making a product that will hopefully change the future of this industry.
I love it. I love it, dude. I love it. So listen, the way that we started off is we do a 2 to 5 minute backstory, origin story. Tell me who HANTAO is. Tell me about where you came from. How did you get into Web3? Give it to the audience.
Oh shit. Okay, so I went into college, and my parents, being Asian, were like, "You have to be a doctor, lawyer, engineer." And so I was like, "Oh shit, I need volunteer hours." So I volunteered for like science club, whatever other nerdy club, and then one of them was gaming. And I actually didn't play games until grade 12 in college, and then I started playing like StarCraft and League of Legends. And because I needed volunteer hours, I got into the club. And then I slowly just volunteered, helped out, and I became VP for 2 years, president, running events and tournaments for like 1,000 people or so for like Counter-Strike, Dota, League, Smash, a few other games. And then after college, doing my 5-year degree in honors chemistry, I was like, I don't want to do this for the rest of my life. So I basically just like decided to go in gaming. My first gaming job was really shit. But after that, I've worked in game publishing for creator acquisition, user acquisition for games like IGG, which is a big mobile game publisher for brands like Red Bull. And then I've also been in esports for 3 years. And I sold my own Fortnite team to Overtime through merger and acquisition. And then when I when one of my friends in gaming was like, "Hey, uh, Web3 is popping right now." It was like Pico bull market, and he was like, "You got to get in. You got to get into gaming and raise some capital and do it. And I bought ETH at like 4,500, Solana at like the Pico top, and I started a company with a couple other people called Quest.
Wow, dude, what a journey. I also bought ETH at 4,500, so we can vibe on that. Talk to me a little bit about that journey of going to school for chemistry, but realizing that you didn't want to do that. Like, how did that self-awareness come to pivot in your life, and what was that like with your parents?
Yeah, so I think Asians have like overparenting. So when I was growing up, it was always like living my parents' dream and not necessarily what I wanted to do. And like growing up, you don't really know what you wanted to do because they always like your parents always put you on this line and pathway to do something. And I never really had the freedom to explore. And when I finally went to college, I wasn't living with my parents anymore. So that was like the first time in my life when I had freedom to actually just decide and try things out and fail at things as well.
Dude, that's incredible. And then walk me through the sale of the Fortnite team to Overtime. Like, what was that like? That seems crazy to me.
Yeah. So originally, I was working with Store Gaming, helping them out. They were founded by the owners of FaZe Clan now. So Banks, Apex, Rain, and those guys, they made Store Gaming. They left Soar to make FaZe Clan. And Soar was like popping in Call of Duty, but then they couldn't find good product market fit because of the way esports is and gaming. But I wanted to own an agency at the time, actually, not a team, but a couple of people reached out to me and they're like, "Hey, you should come work work with us." And those people, like one of them was actually Orangey, one of the Dookie Dash people on Twitter. And so I helped the team out for like 6 months. We split up the team because of some drama, and then I knew that like gaming and money for gaming and esports is really difficult. So I had to either find investment or a buyout. So at that time, luckily I met Overtime through somebody named Chris, and we started talking. And they wanted to acquire a team because they had a gaming vertical, but they didn't have people to manage it. So they just decided to acquire the team, buy all the socials, and then merge the two things together.
Yeah, what a journey. Are you still involved with Overtime?
Yeah, so right now I still oversee gaming initiatives, who's primarily ran by a guy called Rowan and Sniper, and then I'm helping them out right now on the Web3 side, where they're trying to make a manga IP based on the basketball league that they have.
Wow, that's awesome. No, that's cool. You got a lot going on. I love it. I love the journey already. I'm excited to dive into it. So what we do here at the Hype Happy Hour is we get Web3 personalities that I think are super extraordinary, and we bridge the gap between personal life. Like, I want to know about your journey. I'm super intrigued already by your journey. So we do word by word within Hyped, and we start with happiness. I'm going to share my screen, and I'm going to read you my favorite definition of success. It's by Ralph Waldo Emerson. So it's to laugh often and much, to win the respect of intelligent people and the affection of children, to earn the appreciation of honest critics and endure the betrayal of false friends, to appreciate beauty, to find the best in others, to leave the world a bit better, whether by a healthy child, a garden patch, or a redeemed social condition, to know even one life has breathed easier because you have lived. This is to have succeeded. Tell me how you feel about that.
Yeah, that's amazing because when I was in college and I didn't know what to do with my life, I met a couple of people that really helped mentor me. One of them was Devin Nash. He's the ex CEO of Counter Logic Gaming, who
Wow.
sold to Madison Square Garden. The other one is Garvey. He was an ex director at Twitch. And they both like collegiate, like we didn't know what the future of gaming was. Like we were all scared that we would have to go to a shitty Web2 job and just like burn our life away from a 9 to 5.
Yeah.
And those guys were just like always supportive along the way, always changing, like building the next generation of people
Yeah.
and leaders in the space. And like so many of the people that those guys have mentored and helped out throughout the years are very successful in gaming or in Web3.
Wow, dude, that is awesome. I love that. I love that it hit you, that you could go back on that memory. That's incredible. Um, fuck, that's awesome. I love that, man. I love because I think happiness drives success. I think it's so blatantly obvious. Like if you're happy, the success will come, and if you go straight for the success, which obviously success is defined in so many different ways for every different person, but happiness first, then success is such a good mental um like mental health. Your mental health is exceptionary when you think like that. Do you think you've had that like kind of mindset the whole time?
I mean, it wasn't always easy because like when I first started in gaming, I was making 1,700 a month for a full-time job. And that's like I was lived in Vancouver, so my rent was like 950, and then like the rest was like food, utilities. So I barely got by and I kept digging into savings. So it didn't like feel good to be in that time.
Of course.
Right. So now like my definition of happiness is being able to eat whatever food I want.
Yeah.
But yeah, just like getting that experience and like really working through this whole entire time over the years has really gave me a great mindset of how I'm looking at the world now and how I perceive like self fulfillment and happiness.
I love it. I absolutely love it, man. What a great answer. And I think you touched on like being able to eat whatever you want is something that you enjoy, right? And that can be for different people, it's different things. So I love that. The first question under happiness is what makes you happy every single day?
Um, just waking up and being able to build something that I actually care about. A lot of times when I was in college, like I dreaded waking up and going to class. I dreaded going to the lab to do experiments. But now, like when I wake up, I'm like, okay, I gotta crush these things coming up. I'm super amped to do so, and like I'm super excited to meet these new people, and just doing what I really want to do. And the fact that it took me a while to figure out, and I finally figured out what I want to do and what I like, kind of gives me that serenity and
Dude,
happiness.
what a beautiful journey. I think yeah, man, that just you saying that literally made me happy. Like I got happy with you talking about that. So I absolutely love it. Listen, this next question is pretty tough. What is the happiest moment of your life so far?
The happiest moment of my life. Oof. I don't know yet because I don't have any kids
Yeah.
yet. Um, I would definitely say probably meeting my SO,
Okay.
because she's like super supportive because I grind like 10 hours, 12 hours a day. And she's just there like supporting me throughout it. And she's really understanding of like, hey, it's like she is my Eden to Frank.
That's awesome. That is awesome. I mean, your face literally, dude, was lit up that entire time. Like one of the coolest things about having this podcast, and I tell people is like, I'm asking questions that make people think about things that truly make them happy, and their reactions is worth every single moment or them telling them stories like, Frank, for example, when he was on the pod, talked about Eden, and it was like to see those emotions is like is literally priceless. Like to see you do that and to have that now is fucking awesome. Like to be honest, and we're absolutely riding. Like I love it.
You're
And you're
riding.
gonna have a moment in your life, maybe when you have kids or something, that it will be the happiest moment. And I love that you're chasing that with the journey. Um, the last question under happiness is what are some communities in Web3 that you're involved in, or maybe just you enjoy, like so maybe top three communities that you're involved in, maybe hold, or maybe you don't hold them, you just enjoy.
Yeah, so because I'm primarily a gamer, I would say the top ones is like the first one is Axie Infinity for sure. Um, like the team over there, Jiho, Nyx, Quinn, like Dao, Kathleen, and all the people that I've met there were like always supportive of our journey, and they were super welcoming. Like when I got into Web3, when my friend was like, "Hey, you got to get into gaming and Web3," and the first two people I talked to, the first one was Kevin Lin. He is a co-founder at Twitch. I've literally never spoken to anybody of that level before, right? The second one was Jiho, the co-founder of Axie Infinity, which is like the first two meetings that I ever had were like co-founder level of billion-dollar companies, which is like insane to me. So the second one I would have to say is probably um, Real Third Web. I think meeting Jonah, because he also came from gaming and media, was very interesting because like we talk about problems in the industry a lot, and it's
Yeah.
really hard to find people because in gaming there's like game developers, game designers, and then business people and marketers, and it's really hard to find people on the media side as much.
Yeah.
And then I would say the last, but one of the funnest ones is definitely Sappy Seals, because I feel like I can almost have fun without being criticized,
Yeah.
and I can kind of just fuck around and find out type of vibe.
So have you been in Sappy Seals since you got into Web3 or?
No, so I've always watched on the sidelines, and when I first got my Sappy Seal, it was Arrowhead, and people were like, "Yeah, Arrowheads are like the floor traits, and they're stupid, so you should probably sell that and get a blue do-rag." And then after I got a couple different seals, like talking to the community, talking to other people, like even right now, Camel's hosting a space about him leaving Sappy Seals for another job. And like everybody's in there, like congratulating him,
Yeah.
thanking him for what he's done for the community. And like, when would that ever happen
No,
in
that's
Web 2?
nowhere,
Yeah.
dude. The support in Web3 is it is really like there's literally nothing else. There's no other point in any other like I've never seen another business or anything that's like that. Like most companies in general aren't very supportive of their employees, let's say for example. Um, and so when you come to a place like Web3, I truly believe that when you experience something like that in a community, when you're a part of a community like that where people are supporting others, which tends to be like crypto Twitter, not just one collection, is actually crazy. The feeling like, my son is going through some stuff with his health and he has surgery soon. And like, it makes me happy that the posts when I post about if people can pray for him are the posts that do the best. Like that literally genuinely makes me happy because it's like people want to support others. And that is so incredible. Like, yeah, I mean, did you have that when you were in traditional esports? You think like, I mean,
Yeah. I mean, in gaming, it was like everybody was they gate kept very
yeah,
hard. And it was like, they were just like protective of their positions, and they were like didn't like I literally never talked to anybody at a director level in these gaming companies because they just wouldn't it was like hard to reach. There's no way to know who they were.
yeah.
And I'm sure that they would be open to it, but like there's no way to actually reach them.
Yeah, see, that's crazy to me now that we've experienced what we've experienced. Like, people just want people to win. Like, your perfect example is what you said about Camel. Like, genuinely happy for him. People are genuine. I'm sure Wab is happy for him. The founder. There's so many people. Yeah, dude. Like, I want to see you succeed just as much as I want to succeed. And I think in life that is rare. That is still rare to find. Like outside of this, and just in general with your friends, you could have people that are envious of what you're doing, don't have empathy. And so to have that here when we have tons of people that want to see people win is truly, it honestly is like electric. Like that's what I would use the energy when, let's say you win and you share that post. It's I don't know how to create that like dopamine, to be honest.
Yeah, I think people like we're all on the struggle bus together.
Yeah.
We're all trying to figure out like how do we get 1 million users into here? How do we get 500 million users into Web3 using the technology, etc.? And everybody's just like trying to run in the same direction, right?
Yeah.
And like when I talk to a lot of even competitors, like they share their stories of the struggles that they've had and barriers that they faced, even though they're technically competitors.
Yeah. Absolutely, and that can help you grow. Like, that's the coolest thing is I made a post yesterday that I've whatever been doing content for I don't know how long, 6 years or whatever, but I learned so much in one Twitter space yesterday that could literally level up my content. And there's so many people here every single day. Like the fact that we could go, you could stumble into a Twitter space with 10 people and you might learn something new. You probably will learn something new. The information that you're able to gather here, and like you said at the very beginning with the meeting the Twitch co-founder and that kind of stuff, like the relationships and the accessibility of the people is it's crazy. Like I feel like I'm learning every single day I come to this space, whether that be content, whether that be Web3, whether that be blockchain. Like it's so much, it's like actually crazy that people are just willing to help other people for free, willing to have those conversations. I mean, I hung out with AJ Vaynerchuk last weekend for like fucking 12 hours. Like, when is that gonna happen in my traditional world is never gonna happen. Like I'm not like I haven't achieved that business level to like hang out with him. So it's those types of things are so motivating.
Yeah. Um, I've met like so many people with decades of experience through Web3, through just like Twitter, meeting them IRL, and they're just willing to talk.
Yeah, that's fucking beautiful. Listen, let's move into inspiration. I love that we're kind of already talking about inspiration. So, the reason I started this podcast is because of just one life. Like we have one life, so that inspires me every single day to just get up, get after it, go for my dreams. Right? Like who knows if I'm going to achieve them, but I'm going to go for it. So the first question is literally one of my favorite questions. What is one lesson in your life that you've had to learn the hard way?
Hmm. Um, how to take L's.
All right, all right.
Um,
Yeah.
so it's not necessarily one lesson, but I think it's just like temperament through a variety of them, because people have inner egos with themselves,
Mhm.
and people generally feel like they're always right because of their personal experience, because of the environment that they grew up in, that they've seen, etc. And it's really hard as a human being in person to admit that you're wrong and to learn from your mistakes when you're wrong. And for me, it's like, unless you're willing to accept that you need to learn every moment of your life, you can never really progress as a person.
Dude, I love that. That is probably, I would have to agree with you. My same lesson was taking L's. Taking losses, it is like the fucking alpha for life. Like every time and obviously you don't want to just take L's and not learn, but like you have to. You have to hear no 1,000 times sometimes to get to the place you want to be. And I learned that in sales. It's just getting excited about no. I used to get excited to have someone say no to me. And it was a very interesting dynamic because most people would be like, why is this guy happy? He didn't sell anything to me, but he's happy because I was grateful for the opportunity. And it's like when you lean into gratitude, like the fact that we're even here, the fact that you met the Twitch co-founder, the other people, like those types of things, that gratitude will push you forward to, even if you're taking L's, to level you up and learn and grow. And I think, yeah, it's literally one of the most beautiful things in life, I would say.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay. The second question under web or under inspiration is, what about Web3 inspires you to want to do it every single day?
um, so a lot of people are leaving Web3. And right now, I would say Web3 is propped up on a bunch of matches because it's a lot of investor money right now in Web3,
Yeah.
and there's not a lot of users. And when I think about this industry, I think about a pivotal shift in how people interact with each other, because um, when we had like Web 1, Web 2, etc., those, it was more like corporations building ways for people to interact with each other. And now it's like, hey, I can directly talk with you. I can directly talk with somebody who's a founder making a game. I can talk with a project founder. Um, and we're really seeing like that shift. So when I'm looking at like what makes you want to build in Web3, I'm looking 10 years out. It's like, how are people going to engage with this technology in a decade? And how do I build this blocks and the steps for other people to succeed long term?
That was incredible, dude. I mean, the fact that you're thinking such long term, I feel like I have a very similar mindset. Like I want to pave the way. I always say like I'm trying to Trojan horse Web true. Like I'm trying to get into Web 2 and then bring them into Web 3, but in a very good way. Like not like force them in for any reason and want them to be able to love it to then level Web 3 up because like you can onboard someone. Like I could onboard my parents, but if I do it in the wrong way, like it's not going to make a change in Web 3. So I think what you're saying is so important and like that long-term mindset is very very important. I would say like do you think a lot of people in this space think like that or do you think a lot of people are short term?
I think people are forced to think short term because of how fast the space goes. They have long term ambitions, but we are still bound by the capital that they have, the money that they have, the talent that is there, the technology that is there. So the ambitions might be different, but reality, is certain a certain way.
I love it. I love it. I have no follow-up because you just fucking mic drop to be honest. So I absolutely love that. I agree with you 100%. What is your favorite inspirational movie?
Oh, okay. There was a movie that I cried watching.
Let's
I think
go.
I think it was called The Blind Side.
Oh shit, yeah. Yeah, that's a good movie. Football movie.
Yeah, and it was just about, like, this teenager, I think he was, like, pretty big, didn't really know what to do with his life, and, like, he really had to go through all the different challenges in his life to find, like, his comfort zone and what he really loves.
Dude, yes. Yes, I love that, man. I mean, growth comes when you step outside your comfort zone. It's the most basic sentence that is the most meaningful and it's tough. It's tough to get outside your comfort zone, but it's like most of the time what's crazy about growth is like up front, it's so hard. But the second you step out of that zone, it's almost like instantly rewarding. I'm just like, tell people like go for it. Like at least go for it because you don't know. Like you might post one video on YouTube and it might hit 1 million views. But if you never posted that video, you never know. It's like, yeah, of course that's vulnerable and that's stepping outside of your comfort zone, but it's the same thing with everywhere in life. Like if you never came into Web3, how like maybe you would have met the co-founder of Twitch, but like how long would that have taken maybe? And so it's like you took that leap because your friend, it's like has led to so many beautiful things. Kind of like my best example is starting this fucking podcast, dude. Like the connections, the information, the value that I've gotten is way more important than anything else. I don't like I could honestly care less if 5 people watch it. Of course, I want people to watch it, but the value that I'm getting by being able to interview people is literally unbelievable.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Is there anybody in your life, maybe a few people, that have been inspirational leaders to you throughout your life?
Inspirational leaders. So there there's quite a few. So I'm gonna go back to I think Garvey. Um so his real name is Mark Candela, and he was a director of Twitch, doing business development and partnerships. And when he was growing up, he's like a boomer. He's like 60. He's like the uncle in the room, like a Kevin Degoss
Love
type of
it.
guy.
Love it.
So when he was growing up, he went through like a lot of shit, like because he was living in like I think it was like the Bronx or somewhere else. He's a heavy New York accent, um, and he was a troublemaker back then when he was younger, and he started playing like Dungeons and Dragons, I think, and that's where he came up with the name Garvey as a paladin because he wanted to heal and protect people.
Yes.
And when he started doing work for Twitch and started the Twitch student program, his goal was to nurture the next generation of students to become leaders in gaming. And a lot of what he paved the way for really shaped like how people and a lot of the future people working in gaming now really look at the next generation. And I think a lot of us who have seen success within gaming have given back or have been very open to like supporting our alma mater and other people that are also trying to do the same things.
That was, yeah, I love him. I literally love him already. So that's incredible. The fact that he wanted to empower people, like, came from such a core of the paladin values that you said. And then, like, literally my whole life I played a fucking paladin in World of Warcraft, so it's literally insane that you said that. But those values to transition into students, like, to then you to being here now is absolutely unbelievable. I'm literally so fired up right now. We got to move into positivity. Okay, so positivity is fucking everything to me. I literally love positivity. You know I love positivity. Everybody knows I love positivity. I think that positivity is so important because, I mean, it's been proven already by so many studies, but the fact that it releases serotonin and dopamine into our brain is the proof that we need, that it increases our well-being. So the basic definition of positive mindset is focusing on the good in every situation. So what I want you to do is just tell me about your positive mindset, maybe your journey with positivity. Has it been tough? Have you always been positive? Tell me a little bit about having a positive mindset and what it means to you.
Yeah, so it's been very difficult to be honest, because growing up, I never really was able to step out of the box that my parents created. And when I did step out the box, I didn't have any experience. Like when I first got into college, I cried because I failed my first ever midterm, and it was a chemistry midterm.
Oh shit.
And then I also failed my first ever. It wasn't. It was like final or something. It was also in chemistry. So like, it's always been hard to stay positive. I think that I wouldn't say that I have like a positive mindset as much as like I've come to a place where I understand my weaknesses, my journey, and I've accepted myself for who I am,
Yes.
and I'm able to deal with any kind of like barriers that come up.
Dude, I love that. I literally love that. So give me an example of something that happens to you and how do you face your barrier? Like, you just have this shift in your mind, or do you lean into gratitude? Like for me, it's gratitude. Like, what's that shift look like?
So, for example, I'll give two. The first one is like because I recently was in New York for NFTUIC and GDC, and it was like I am an introvert. I am a nerd. I played video games. I didn't talk to people. And when I go to an event, I'm like, holy shit, there's so many new people, right?
Yeah.
And then I think like, you know what? All these other people in the room right now are probably similar. A few of them are also probably introverts as well. And like, what's gonna happen if I just say hi?
Yes.
Right? Like, oh, sorry, I'm busy right now. Okay,
Yeah, it's cool. You've been in the same situation you were in.
exactly. There's like, you literally lose nothing by
Yes.
just meeting people and saying hi and like connecting, telling your story, asking about what they do, and empathizing, sympathizing with their journey as well.
Yes, dude. Yes. That's a clip. I need you to give me the second example because I'm probably going to clip it too. You're fucking killing it right now. I don't want you to, I know you're not up here, but you're absolutely killing it. I literally loving this right now.
Yeah. So, the second situation I would say is I had to give a keynote at NFT NYC,
Okay.
and everything that I've done a talk on was in panels.
Okay.
Right. And generally, when I do panels, I have like a few people come up to me after, and it's just like they either want to work with me or they're like, oh, I liked your thing. And then it was like, that's it. Right. So I never had to stand on a stage by myself talking for 10 minutes straight.
Solo.
Yeah. So when I it was like a huge barrier for me to overcome because, I was nervous. This is like worse than an investor meeting.
Yes.
Um, so when I got up there, like I was thinking, how do I connect with these people? Because they're also a degenerate or they're a speaker. They love gambling too. Like they're in NFTs.
Yes.
So I just tried to give them as much as the realism as possible.
Mhm.
And to really talk through like what it means to connect with them and give them something that they can grab onto, but still provide value to them without just having a 10-minute conversation with myself.
Dude, that was yes, that's absolutely incredible. Um, did you know, and I don't think a lot of people know this, but that public speaking is the number one fear in the world. It is the number one fear over drowning, over burning alive. Public speaking for the majority is the number one fear. And the fact that you got up and you did a 10-minute speech and probably crushed it is like, dude, that's great, man. How did you feel after?
Yeah, I definitely went a lot faster than when I practiced.
Yeah.
I think I finished in like 6 minutes instead of 9. Um, but I really put a lot of thought into the presentation, and I also added a QR code at the end for my Twitter.
Let's
And I
go.
had about 7 people message me after, and they were like, "Oh, that was a really great presentation."
Dude,
So that was really awesome to see and really made me happy.
dude, amazing. And you got the instant feedback too, which was absolutely incredible. Like, I love that. I love it. All right, we're getting into enthusiasm. Listen, I've ran through 7 brick walls already today. I wake up and I'm ready to go. I'm excited. So I love enthusiasm. I think, listen, we got one life. Why not be excited? Celebrate wins. Not enough people celebrate wins. What are 3 things right now in your life that you are just obsessed with? 3 things that you are just love right now.
The first one is Twitter Spaces,
Okay.
surprisingly,
Okay.
because I get to speak to a lot of interesting people, and I try to make it fun. I instigate a little bit,
Yes.
um,
Yes.
but I think just like meeting new people, connecting with them, talking with them, having like actual discussion is very interesting because then I can get like their perspective. You know, um, even in I don't want to bring this up, but politics, when people disagree, it's like, but why do you disagree? Like people
Yeah.
don't go into the why enough, right? Like you don't
Yeah.
actually understand where environment they came from, what their background was like to have them think a certain way.
Of
So
course.
unless you're able to like level out with each other and really empathize with each other, it's hard. So for me, it's like I really like connecting with people and understanding what they're thinking and what their mindset's like. I don't know if I can come up with 3. Um,
You gotta have 2 other things. It could be anything, food, I mean, whatever. Like you said, you like food. I feel like you're obsessed with the food right now. Maybe I don't know. So you go through phases.
yeah, I mean, I've always loved barbecue. I love
Okay,
the burning taste of meat. I don't know why.
let's
Probably gonna get
go.
cancer from it.
Fuck it,
Hopefully
we're
not,
all
but
gonna have cancer. It's okay. Like
yeah,
we're riding, dude.
either that, like secondhand smoking, not going outside, not enough vitamin D. I don't know. Yeah, I love barbecue, and then I actually like really want a cat as well.
You want one.
Or yeah, I really
Okay.
want one or a
Yes.
pet, but I travel a lot, so it's hard to take care of them.
Okay.
But I think having like a emotional support animal would be awesome.
Yeah. I think cat's probably one that if you travel a lot, like it's hard with like the litter box, but I feel like they have all kinds of shit nowadays, like automatic litter boxes or something. Like you never know what's been invented already. Like automatic litter box cleans the litter box, automatic food dispenser, water dispenser. Boom, you're good, dude. Cats can be great when you're gone. I mean, be honest. I think you
Yeah,
should get a cat. Like, I think you should get a cat.
I want to.
Would you rescue one or would you buy one?
I don't know. The only thing I'm worried about is their hair getting everywhere.
Oh shit.
When
Are
I already
you?
have a
Yeah.
girl, yeah. So it's
Oh shit. Yeah, I'm allergic to
there's
cats. I
like
would. Yeah, I would never have a cat. Like, I just talked up having a cat, but I would absolutely never have a cat. There's no way.
yeah. And then
Yeah.
my girl's moving in, so it'd be like 2 times the hair.
When is your girl moving in? That's exciting.
Probably in a couple months.
Okay. All right. And you're in Canada?
Yeah.
Okay. Are you from Canada?
From China, moved to Canada when I was 6. Lived on an island, so I was like super whitewashed growing up. My only like of color friends were like a half Asian kid and like a half Latino and half native. That was
You
it.
said oh my gosh, that's legendary. Yeah, I mean, at what age did you like start getting culture and stuff?
When I went to college and to
Literally.
Vancouver. Yeah,
Holy fuck.
I literally grew up eating sandwiches every day of my life. And then when I got here, it was like bubble tea, like boba.
Yeah.
Like
Love it.
yeah, it was just like so different.
What do your parents do? Like what are their professions?
So my mom's an RN, a
Okay.
nurse.
Yeah.
And then my dad works in shellfish. So he works at a college teaching students, and then he also has a shellfish farm for oysters and scallops.
Fucking A, that's dope. That's cool. What has been your so far, right? So far, because you're gonna do big things, I already know, but what has been your biggest accomplishment of your life?
Probably meeting some of my co-founders at Quest,
Okay.
because founding a company is really hard. And then when you find co-founders, like you're basically getting married to them,
Yeah.
because you have to work with them, you have to understand their weaknesses, you have to fill in where they're not as strong and figure out like it's like you have to go to therapy with
Yeah.
them to like how to optimize your business, because there's things that they can't do that you can do that neither of you can do or both of you can do.
Yeah.
It's like you have to figure out all of the different intersections, and it's like really really difficult to work in a startup. So I think being able to find the co-founders that I have and us being able to do the work that we do has been a blessing, because it's like I don't think it was probably like a 1 in a million chance that that would have happened.
So how did you meet your co-founders? Tell me about that.
Yeah, so my friend was like, "Yeah, you got to get in, raise some capital." So I talked to investors, and I was trying to raise like 300 to 500K. And when I started doing more research about running a guild, which is like asset lending, so you have your NFT in the game, you lend it to somebody else, and they play it on it, and you split the revenue.
Okay.
Um, and I was like, holy shit, I don't actually want to run the operations of this, because it sounds terrifying to like manage 100 people essentially working for you to yield farm in a way. And I just wanted to do like marketing or partnerships on that side. So being able to find like somebody who was in operations, Bruce, he worked at Bridgewater with Ray Dalio for 2 years and Bridgewater for 10 years. And then two other guys who are data scientists at IBM CDC, and the other one doing postdoc on digital economies. So being able to find like heavy hitters and people who are really competent in what they're doing alleviates a lot of what stuff that I don't want to do in my life.
And it's
That
been
doesn't
smooth.
make me happy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I love that. That's self-awareness. And you loved it. Like you love you guys get along really well.
Yeah. Yeah.
great.
Yeah. So like we don't really argue about stuff. Like I've heard horror stories of startups where they're just like, my co-founder was a psycho because they wanted control and shit like that. And it was like, no, we're just trying to make money. We're just trying
Yeah.
to survive.
Yeah. You guys are just trying to make the best company and
Yeah.
be successful doing it. I love it. It's hard sometimes for people to separate that, right? To separate that, like there's just people want to be in control of a lot of things, right? Like it could be their fucking Twitter post, like like where a conversation goes or something. It's pretty, it's hard sometimes for people. What has been the most exciting moment for you so far in Web3? One moment that was like fucking crazy.
Yeah. So we worked with Pepsi. So our first client was Sky Mavis, and like we're deep in the ecosystem. We have a validator on there, and we do a lot of the product marketing with them, help them with creators and research as well. And it's like, and then it was like all gaming. And then we're like, Pepsi. And then Pepsi's like, hey, we did these activations in Decentraland, et cetera, and we need research and support. And I would never have thought that we could work with a partner like Pepsi to help them with their Web3 data and strategy.
Dude, what has that been like working with such a big company? I mean, fuck, Pepsi is like fucking huge. I mean, what is that like? For how long have you been working with them?
So we just did a research study for them. It was a 40-page report. Hopefully, we can publish it as well soon. But like they they're such a large company of conglomerates. Um, so I can't confirm this, but what I think I know is that when they were marketing against Coca-Cola
Okay.
back in the day,
Yeah.
they were like, I want to get into Pizza Hut. I want to get into Subway. Like, that's why they carry Pepsi products, right? So I wanted to get into all these different companies. And when Pepsi was like, I want to replace Coca-Cola in these companies, and they were like, no, Coke is paying us a lot of money, right? They found that it was easier to actually buy these companies than it would be to pay money to replace Coca-Cola. So Yum Foods, I think, is owned by PepsiCo. So like Wing Street, Pizza Hut, Subway, that's why they have Pepsi products in their thing. So under the umbrella of Pepsi, they have their in-house like Cheetos, Doritos, Mountain Dew, things like that. And I'm pretty sure they also own the food brands as well.
Wow. That is wild. And I would love to see it's something I'm thinking about right now is like in my mind, Coke is a way bigger brand, Coca-Cola, but that might not be the case. I would love to run those analytics of like, is Pepsi way larger because they've bought other companies? And I'm sure Coke has bought companies as well. But if Pepsi executed on that in a massive scale, like that could be, I've never even thought about that. That is genius.
Yeah, I think Coca-Cola is still higher based on market cap because they're
Yeah.
both public.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know the exact details.
Dude, that's wild. Well, that's fun, dude. I'm excited for you to keep working with them. That's gonna be a fun journey. I mean, fucking Pepsi, dude. Like that's amazing. All right, listen, we're gonna get into dreams. I love dreams. I love that you have a fucking thing that says greatness and what you said before we got on camera. This is a pretty simple segment and it's kind of intense. I'm gonna read you the dream that I have for my life. Well, I'm just gonna tell it to you. And then I want you off the cuff, straight from the heart, to tell me the dream that you have for your life. So I'll go first. I'm Gentle Tornado. I am an honest, enthusiastic, and successful man that will inspire others to live their life through happiness.
Nice.
Thanks. You're gonna crush it. Listen, there actually is no pressure. Like I know I say that, but like
Yeah.
everybody does well because I know what you're gonna say is gonna come from your heart. And so it's gonna be honestly cool for both of us.
Yeah. I'm HANTAO, and when I pass away in 60 years, maybe, I hope that I will be at least 1% of thousands of people's journeys in their life and careers.
Let's go, dude. I absolutely love it. I fucking love it. Listen, because you just said that. No, I'm just kidding. I do it every single episode, but I'm going to share my screen and I'm going to read you my favorite poem. I think this is going to hit you hard. It's called The Dash. It says, I read of a man who stood to speak at a funeral of a friend. He referred to the dates on the tombstone from the beginning to the end. He noted that first came the date of birth and spoke of the following date with tears. But he said what mattered most of all was the dash between those years. For that dash represents all the time that they spent alive on earth, and now only those who love them know what that little line is worth. For it matters not how much we own, the cars, the house, the cash. What matters is how we live and love and how we spend our dash. So think about this long and hard. Are there things that you'd like to change? For you never know how much time is left that can still be rearranged. If we could just slow down enough to consider what's true and real, and always try to understand the way other people feel, and be less quick to anger and show appreciation more, and love the people in our lives like we've never loved before. If we treat each other with respect and more often wear a smile, remembering that this special dash might only last a little while. So when your eulogy is being read with your life's actions to rehash, would you be proud of the things they say about how you spent your dash?
Tearing up a little bit.
Wild, right?
Yeah, it hits.
It was like truly, yeah, dude. Like at the end of your life, like I'm just so committed to no regrets. Like obviously we fuck up every day, but like that legacy, dude, that dash between when you're born and you die is it's literally everything.
Yeah. I think like there was this thing where one of my mentors said is like you could have $1 billion and nobody to remember you.
Exactly. Exactly, dude. I mean, like we can't take the money when we die. Like
Yeah.
I could leave my kids, like they're gonna be cool. You know what I mean? Like I'll take care of them, but at the same time, they can't take the money when they die either. Like nobody's taking no fucking money when they die. So that's where like happiness drives success, dude. And like you can just see you're a great example of like in this whatever 50 minutes we've been on here, you're happy with what you're doing. You can just tell the way that you talk about it and the way that you're talking about your life is driving the success. It's just like actually so basic of of like a concept. It's very hard for people to realize that, but it's like actually that basic. Like I literally used to fucking hate my job when I worked for my dad, but I loved my life. So I became happy every single day and I became happy with what I was doing. And then it didn't matter. Like I was just happy. And so then I was very successful in the business I was running. It's just so transitional to you're a great example of that.
Yeah.
Let's fucking ride, dude. All right, listen, how we're going to leave the audience is you get to leave them with one final statement. It could literally be anything. And then one final question.
Yeah. Um, I would say that there's a wide variety of people in Web3. There are people who have decades of experience, and there are people who have no experience. However, it's okay to question people, but you should always make sure that you're understanding and speaking with respect to what they're doing so that you can understand why they are behaving or saying what they are.
Let's go. I love
Yeah.
it. Crushed it.
And then I guess my one question is for you, GT.
All right.
You are probably one of the most positive guy on Spaces and on Twitter. And I assume that you can't always have good days.
I don't.
So, what is it like being that guy, but also have to deal with your own downturns?
Wow. Interesting question. You're right. I don't always have the best days. You know, it's tough, right? I have 3 kids. I have a wife. Those are big responsibilities that a lot of people don't either understand or know, right? Obviously, other dads, other husbands understand that, but being a dad is not easy, like being a parent. Also, being a parent with your significant other, right? Because that comes with a bunch of communication that is just like a different level. Yeah. So I would say the way that I deal with adversity is it's just like I've trained myself to just lean into gratitude. And it's actually like, I'll give an example that actually happened this week was, I think it was Monday or Tuesday. My YouTube shorts, I've been posting YouTube shorts for probably, I don't know, 200 something videos now. And I've never gotten a video because I'm just recycling my gratitude videos, but I've never gotten over like 2,500 views or something. And like that is kind of discouraging, right? Because I've had success obviously on Twitter, but I was like down. I was down on myself, you know, and I went downstairs. I was done working for the day. I was hanging out with my family, and my wife noticed, you know, that I wasn't, you know, like happy. And I told her, and like literally 5 minutes after I had started this negative energy, I guess, or whatever you want to call it, I got this idea was like, why don't I film myself when I'm in Twitter spaces? Like now that I'm at home, I can film myself when I'm at Twitter spaces. Cause like a lot of times, and you know this by being in Twitter spaces with me, I do talk Web3. Like I've been here for 3 years, but like I'll talk more about life. And those clips can hit on any other social platform. And because like I said earlier, I'm trying to Trojan horse this motherfucker. Like I really want to grow my other platforms so that I can funnel people here because I truly believe Web3 is the future and all that. And so it's like that that type of instance just restores faith of like, how can I fucking have a bad day? Of course, like my kids do shit all the time that pisses me off. Like, you know what I mean? Like they say no, they throw shit. Like it's wild when you have kids, but like leaning back into those things and knowing that the biggest thing for me is knowing that like what I'm doing is making a difference. And like
Mhm.
that happened in NYC, dude. Like I don't like have the mindset that I'm anybody. Like I don't think I'm anybody. I'm so ground level and I've just been that way. I want to support people and so many people came up to me and just said like what you do is like helps me so much. And so for me, I use that. Like I use that as fuel. Like I use that as like fuck, like I don't want to keep doing this like fucking posting 5 times on different platforms is exhausting for any content creator, but it's like I'm here to change, like I want to change people's lives. And so like I know I was all over the place, but leaning into gratitude has been my way is like, dude, what are the chances of being born are 400 trillion to 1. Literally this right here above my thumb it says a ticket, 400 trillion to 1, one life. Like, I don't know. I would work 24 hours a day if I could and be a good dad and be a good mom. But I mean, like, obviously you have to have balance, but it's just gratitude. Like, that didn't just happen. Obviously, like, I've trained myself that way. Like, because you just you get hit every day in the face by whatever it is. It could be anything. But like when you turn back into gratitude and positivity, the reason I said the thing about serotonin and dopamine is like those types of things can bring your brain, if we're talking about science, it can bring your brain back to happiness, positivity, gratitude. So yeah, fucking roundabout. I said so much right there. So I'm sorry I went so long.
Love that. Love that.
Listen, dude, you've been absolutely incredible. I'm so grateful for you coming on, and I look forward to the future, man. You're gonna absolutely crush it.
Appreciate that.
Let's go, dude. It's been Hyped Happy Hour, episode 49. My man, HANTAO. He is gonna fucking crush the future. Let's go. We are riding. Give me a like, follow, subscribe, share this with anybody that you think can gain value. I'll see you guys next.